Hello everyone, and welcome to the Service Unit Encampment Director webinar for Girl Scouts of Northeastern New York. In this webinar, we will talk about what it means to be a Service Unit Encampment Director. When you are planning for a Service Unit encampment, it can involve anywhere from 80 to 240 girls and adults. Obviously, this requires careful advanced planning. Basic information to all Service Unit adults should be provided. Please note that the Encampment Director and Medical Director cannot be the same person. A separate First Aider must also accompany the encampment. Consult the safety activity checkpoints before you go, in particular with your activities. Collect your health history forms. These only need to be collected once a year. Reserve the site. If you can get a bus or some other form of transportation, that is strongly recommended. And plan your food ahead of time. You want to think about possible dates in a site, health and safety, your estimated number of persons, personnel and training requirements, finances, anticipated expenses and by whom they will be paid, and you might want to think about fundraising and a refund policy if people can't go. Food, equipment, and a program for the event are all important. For your personnel, you need a director. This is a Service Unit Encampment Director, a medical director, somebody to supervise the waterfront, a program director, and a boating director if you plan to do boating. For programs, make sure your activities meet the criteria for discover, connect, or take action. Make sure they are girl-led, have the girls learn by doing, and try to have different age levels working together. For the encampment, you have to complete the Service Unit Encampment application. You can see on our website where it is. If you click on Camp, you see that make a reservation right there. That's where you apply for it. You want to recruit other volunteers to help at the encampment. Definitely hold a planning meeting and keep a record of girls and adults that will be participating. For camp procedures, you should have procedures for all of these. Cars, who's going to be parking, where, how many cars are allowed on site, will you allow cars to move during the encampment, cleanup, drinking water, equipment and equipment on site, fires, who's maintaining them, who's building them, who's making sure they're put out properly, garbage and trash. Please take all the garbage and trash with you, the gate, the keys, the latrine care, pets, is anyone bringing any seeing eye dogs or other service dogs, propane lanterns, smoking, telephone, tent care, winter advisories, supervision for the girls, activity safety, and again fire safety is important enough to have on here twice. Quiet time, girls do require quiet time, and of course the sleeping arrangements. Remember that men must sleep in a separate area from women. For emergency procedures, keep your cool, and you want to go through the 4 illness, injuries, medications, and fire, and have procedures ready for each one. Arrange for proper adult supervision of girls. Your group must have at least 2 unrelated approved adult volunteers present at all times, one of whom is a woman, plus additional adult volunteers as necessary. Adult volunteers must be at least 18 years old, or the age of majority defined by the state if it is older than 18, and must be screened by your council before volunteering. Again, 1 lead volunteer in every group must be female. If you have a missing child, of course you want to start with prevention. You want to keep an eye on where the girls are, have supervision all the time. But if the case happens and something does happen, you search the camp and you notify the emergency contact info, as you can see here. First aid policies. A registered first aider, including CPR, is required for all Service Unit encampments. We do first aid training through the council. Check our website. This individual may not fulfill any other responsibilities. Also, this person may not participate in any activities away from camp. Refer to the safety activity checkpoints for specific first aid requirements for whatever you are doing, and any program which involves an off-site activity requires a second first aider to accompany the group. Waterfront procedures. Swimming requires a lifeguard plus 2 adult watchers skilled in the use of rescue equipment for every 25 swimmers. Boating requires an adult who is Red Cross Small Craft Safety certified for every 12 participants and requires a lifeguard who can be the same as a boating instructor. Canoeing requires an adult who is Red Cross Small Craft Safety certified for every 12 adults. Avoid lost bather drill. You want to have plenty of adult supervision. You want to make sure that all adults pay close attention to the girls. And you insist that all swimmers cooperate with the check-in, check-out system, and the buddy system. By this I mean when the girls go in the water, they should be checking in with somebody, and when they come out of the water, they should be checking out. Risk management, lightning safety, and weather radio. You want to keep an eye on your indoor safety, outdoor safety, immediate safety. Use your common sense and watch for severe storms. Fire procedures. You want to prevent fires. Always have someone attending the fire. Be ready. Conduct a fire drill within a few hours of arrival. And in case of fire, campers first, fire second. Save the girls first. Evacuation routes. Make sure that you familiarize yourself with the evacuation route for your camp. This webinar goes with the Service Unit Encampment Director Manual, and in those are evacuation routes for each camp. Also, when you register for your camp, you will get a walkthrough and a guide for the camp. Be sure to consult for Camp Ishota, Camp Meadowbrook, Hidden Lake, Camp Woodhaven, and Lake Clear. There are specific procedures to be followed by groups encountering strangers. Ask them politely what their business is and if you can help them. Inform them that they are on private property. If they state that they have permission to be in camp property, ask to see ID and write down their name and address and inform council. Under no circumstances attempt to physically remove the trespasser. Procedures to follow when encountering animals on camp property. Respect the animals for what they are. An animal living in the wild which will protect itself and its young if threatened. If an animal acts aggressively, be sure no one approaches the animal and have everyone calmly and immediately leave the area. Identify the animal, if possible, and the location where it was seen and what time. Please call one of the council's emergency contacts. Procedures regarding bats at the camp. You want to visually inspect all sleeping quarters. Make sure all tent fly ropes are properly tied. Bats have an important role in the ecosystem, so don't kill them. If a bat is found, adults should calmly remove the campers from the area. Bats can be captured by placing a pot or a can over the bat, then slipping a flat piece of cardboard over the lid. If a child awakens to find a bat in her sleeping quarters, the situation is treated as though she were bitten, because bats' bites are so small, and because rabies can be transmitted by animal saliva as well as bites. If the bat is captured or killed and the head is intact, it should be taken to the local county health department for testing. Your Encampment Director Manual has more information on these questions. What is rabies? Who gets rabies? How do people get rabies? Can people be exposed to rabies and not know it? What should be done if a bat is found indoors? And what are the symptoms of rabies? Please read through your manual and make sure you understand all of it. Rabies is a deadly disease transmitted through the saliva of an infected animal. Not all bats have rabies, but most human cases of rabies in the U.S. are caused by bats. Bat bites often leave small minor wounds but still require prompt medical attention. Rabies is a preventable disease. Make sure you bat-proof your tents and your sleeping areas. And if you do find a bat, call the health department. If bitten, wash the wound with soap and water and seek medical care immediately. Lyme disease is another worry that we have in upstate New York. Again, your Service Unit Encampment Manual has information on what is Lyme disease, how is Lyme disease transmitted, what can be done to prevent Lyme disease, how should a tick be removed, what are the symptoms of Lyme disease, what is the treatment for Lyme disease. Make sure you wear repellent, check for ticks daily, shower soon after being outdoors, and call your doctor if you do get a fever or rash. Please refer to the site orientation manuals for more detailed info on each site. When you receive your orientation manual, please make sure to read it thoroughly beginning to end. It will tell you everything you need to know about each camp. Camp Meadowbrook is located on nearly 14 acres right next to the Girl Scouts of Northeastern New York Queensbury Service Center. This charming little camp has a splash pad, tree house, nature trail, playing field, and a large campfire circle. Accommodations here are the Friendship Lodge, the Nature Lodge, the Winter Lodge, and the covered wagons are only used seasonally. Nature and winter are being used year-round at the moment. It will depend on the scheduled usage. Camp Ishota is tucked away in the town of East Greenbush. The camp has a private lake for boating, paddleboarding, fishing, and swimming, and is easily accessible to all points within the capital region. Ishota offers a large playing field for group activities, as well as separate areas for archery, nature, arts and crafts, and specialty programs. The buildings available are Hilltop Lodge, and the outdoor facilities are Skedakuk, Kaunamik, Shodak, Covered Wagons, Antiara, Anawate, Outpost, and of course the Pavilion Skills area. Hidden Lake is our largest camp property, located just 3 miles from Lake George, and this offers amazing opportunities. It has 2 mountain hikes within the camp property and a large private lake. It includes an archery range, hiking trails, a waterfront for swimming and for boating, and a challenge course with low and high elements. Groups are given the opportunity to customize their adventure by adding program options to their rental. This camp has a large dining hall equipped to handle large groups, or small groups can cook meals in the individual kitchen shelters located in each unit. The camping units are Hemlock Hill, Red Oak, and Tuscarora, Pioneer, Mohican, and Pine Top, the Nature Shack, the Boathouse, and there are some primitive areas. Hidden Lake also has winterized facilities for year-round use. Winter Lodge, Health Lodge, Wright Cottage, Dining Hall, and Mohawk, which does not have bunks, simply a double bed. Camp Woodhaven is in Galway, New York. There is a pristine lake fully equipped with boats and paddleboards. We also have an amazing playfield, Gaga Pit, observation deck, and arts and crafts building. The camping units here are Gypsy Unit, Lumberjill Unit, Pioneer Unit, Frontier Unit, and Longhouse, and they have a winterized building, the Troop House. And Lake Clear, our farthest north camp, boasts amazing views of the Adirondack High Peaks, clear waters, and a sense of the true outdoor camp experience. This is situated a short drive from Saranac Lake Village, Lake Placid, and Paul Smith's College. Nearby popular destinations include the Wild Center and Paul Smith's Visitor Interpretive Center. The buildings here are the Fireside, the Bunkhouse, the Mountain View, the Ash Grove, the Turner Lodge, the Infirmary, the Sandbox, the Chalet, and the Chuck Wagon. So, when you are camping, you need some camp skills. You need fires and fire buildings. You have to know how to put out a fire, safety for the fire, the 3 kinds of fuel, steps to building a fire, types of fire, and of course arrival and departure. All of this is in your service unit encampment manual. Again, please do refer to it. You need to have a hand washing and dishwashing set up. Forgive me, I had some technical difficulties. Okay, let's try again. I had a little technical difficulty. Outdoor education required of GSNENY volunteers. If your troop wants to use camp property, daytime, with no cooking, you need at least 1 adult with your troop who has sight orientation and first aid CPR and blended outdoor skills. This goes for camp property daytime with outdoor cooking or a fire, have a sleepover in a lodge without outdoor activities, use a lodge for overnight camping with outdoor activities and fire. If you want to go tent or shelter camping as a single troop, you need those things and you need outdoor skills, encampment or multi-troop overnight experience in tents or blended outdoor skills. Community encampment, multi-troop camping, same thing, site orientation and blended outdoor skills. To take a day trip or overnight, not camping, you have to have first aid CPR. To use the waterfront camp, you find qualified instructors to run these activities or request certified individuals from the property's assistant at council for a fee. And to use boats at camp, you have to contact rentals at girlscoutsneny.org, and extra fees do apply. How to plan an encampment. So we talked a little bit about this before, but you want to talk about how many troops are interested. How many people? How are you including girls in the planning of the encampment? You also want to think about your encampment style. Are you having a full program, a program planned at the service unit level? Are you having a modified program? Some of it will be provided by consultants, as in the service unit, and some done by troops on your own. Or are you having an independent program where troops are totally responsible for their own activities? Food, menu, and cooking styles. Are you going to have a full meal plan where all meals are bought, cooked, and cleaned up at a central dining hall, lodge, or site? Or are you going to have troop-based meals? Each troop plans, purchases, and cooks their own meals at their unit. Use the presentation or the attached booklet to create your own health and safety meeting outline. Include things like leaders' packets, program plans, transportation, troop needs and responsibilities, and the rest of the items in this presentation. For your other forms, you'll need an encampment roster, a check-in and check-out list, service unit checklists, a sample outdoor list of things to bring, permission slips, and of course a packing list. Here's a frequently asked questions. How do I start planning? Who can participate in an encampment? What training is necessary? Does each troop need a first aider? Do encampments have to be held at GSNENY camps? Can the encampment director or medical director be troop leaders? Does the encampment have to run a dining hall for all meals? How do we get permission to use the waterfront? Can registered adults and non-scout children use the encampment? Can non-Girl Scouts conduct programs throughout the encampment? We talked a little bit about each of these, but just to review in a little bit, encampments do not have to be held at GSNENY camps. Each troop does need a first aider. We've talked about training earlier in this presentation. The encampment director and medical director cannot be troop leaders. They need to be independent of a troop, or at least they need to have coverage for their troop while they take care of this. The encampment does not have to run a dining hall for all meals. That is your choice. To get permission to use the waterfront, you must contact when you reserve the camp. And if you need non-registered adults and non-scout children, you have to take tag-along insurance. You have to purchase it. Those forms are available on our website. If non-Girl Scouts conduct programs throughout the encampment, they must be registered and background checked to be covered by insurance and to make sure that they are safe. Above all, don't forget to have fun. A service unit encampment is one of the most fun things you can do. If you need further assistance, you can always contact council at volunteering@girlscoutsneny.org. Thank you very much for joining me on this, and we hope to hear from you soon.